Hello friends, in continuation of the instructional videos about iMaster brand inverters, today we want to talk about the iMaster E1 inverter. In these training videos, what we're going to learn together is how to wire the power terminals of the E1 inverter, how to effectively work with the inverter keypad, as well as how to precisely set the operating frequency from the keypad and then subsequently start and stop the E1 inverter directly from the keypad unit. Now, regarding the power terminals of the E1 inverter, as you can see, the three-phase input of the inverter is connected to the R, S, and T terminals. You can connect your three-phase power supply to the R, S, and T terminals. The output terminals of this inverter are U, V, and W, where you connect your electric motor to these terminals, that is U, V, and W. If your inverter's power is below 22 kilowatts, meaning up to 22 kilowatts, this inverter, E1, has a built-in dynamic brake, and if you want to connect a braking resistor to this inverter, you can directly connect your braking resistor to the P and RB terminals. The P terminal and this one are related to the DC link of this inverter. If the power of your inverter is above 22 kilowatts, you need to connect your dynamic brake, your chopper, externally to the P and N terminals and connect your resistor to your dynamic brake. So that's it for the power terminals of the E1 inverter. Now let's talk about the keypad of the E1 inverter, how it works and how to enter the parameters. As you can see, the E1 inverter has a run button. When you specifically desire to initiate and then cease the operation of the inverter utilizing the keypad, you can readily commence the inverter's function with this dedicated run button and subsequently terminate its operation with the distinct stop button. And also, if there is a fault on the inverter, you can use this stop or reset button to clear the fault. There is a knob on the inverter on the keypad. With this knob, you can change or adjust the inverter's output frequency. But if you want to enter the parameter groups of this E1 inverter, you need to do this using the function button by pressing the function button. You will now enter the specific parameter groups of the E1 inverter system, but the crucial question is, how exactly do you effectively switch between these various groups? You can conveniently switch between the different inverter groups by utilizing the dedicated up and down joystick buttons, which are designed for precise navigation. So first, you need to press the function button to enter the inverter groups. Now, to move between the groups, you should use the up and down buttons. Now, if we want to enter one of the parameter groups again, we need to press the function button once more to access that group. But if we've entered that parameter group and navigated to the parameter related to that group again, to enter that parameter as well, you need to use the function button. But after we've entered the parameter and set the values, to save the value we've set, we also need to use the store key. This ensures that the value we've set is saved in this inverter. The LEDs you see here on the inverter's keypad, the run LED indicates whether the inverter is currently running or stopped. The power LED shows whether the inverter is currently connected to power or not. If you want to see the ampere value, the ampere LED will light up. If you want to see the hertz LED will light up. And that's it for the keypad of the E1 inverter. But as we mentioned in this tutorial video, our goal is to set the frequency reference on the inverter's keypad. That means we'll set the frequency on the inverter using the keypad and also start and stop the inverter through the keypad. In order to set the frequency reference on the E1 inverter, set it to the keypad and use the keypad to input values into the inverter. We need to carefully enter the parameter group A and then precisely set the value of parameter number 1 to 2. If we successfully set it to 2, we can then conveniently use the keypad to accurately set our desired operating frequency on the inverter. However, if we specifically want to start and also stop the inverter using the keypad, there are additional considerations. We need to enter parameter group A again. This time set parameter number 2 to 0. That's the setting you need. But if, when starting and stopping via the keypad, the rotation direction is reversed, you need to enter parameter group F. Change parameter number 4 in that group to set the correct direction. If it's set to forward, switch it to reverse. If it's on reverse, set it to forward. Alright, but the example we want to do in this instructional video is this. We want to set parameter A3F, which is parameter number 1 in parameter group A, to the value 2. That means the frequency reference will be from the keypad. Set parameter number 2 in group A to 0. That means our start and stop will be controlled via the inverter keypad using the run and stop buttons. But there are other parameters we need to set as well. One of them is the maximum frequency, which is parameter number 4 in parameter group A. You can set the maximum frequency there, but as for our frequency command, if we want to set the frequency for the inverter via the keypad, we need to enter our desired frequency value into one of the parameters. But which parameter? It's parameter number 1 in parameter group F. We enter the full frequency value, or the set frequency, into the inverter. Alright, let's go ahead and apply all the settings we've learned so far on the E1 inverter. This is the I1 inverter from the iMaster brand. We've now connected the inputs and outputs of the inverter. We've also connected the inverter as we mentioned. The RS and T terminals are for the inverter's input 3-phase power, and the U, V, and W terminals are for the inverter's output, which connects to our electromotor. The RB and P terminals, up to 22 kilowatts, are used to directly connect the braking resistor to the inverter. So, these are the ones used. This is the wiring for the power terminals of the E1 iMaster inverter. Alright, now let's talk about working with the keypad. As we mentioned, if we want to enter the inverter's parameter groups, we first need to press the function button. You can see that when I press the function button, the inverter's parameter groups opened up for me. Now, if I want to go to another group while I'm in group D, I just press the down button. You can see the H parameter group, the C parameter group, the B parameter group, the A parameter group, and the F parameter group, and in the same way I can go back again to the D parameter group. For example, now I want to go to the parameter group F. For example, in group F, I want to enter parameter 0.4, meaning I want to access the 4th parameter of group F. I press the function key. You can see that its value is currently 0. If I change the value, for example, set it to 1, to save this value, I need to press the store key or press store so it gets saved. Now, if I enter it again, you can see that the value of parameter F0.4 has changed to 1. So this is how you work with the inverter keypad and how to access the parameter groups. Here you can see the run key, which is used to start the inverter via the keypad. And the stop key is for stopping it. There's also a knob. Here you can see that you can use this knob to change the inverter's output frequency. But the example we said we want to do together in this tutorial video is that we want our frequency reference to be set via the keypad, and we also want to perform start and stop using the keypad as well. To set our frequency reference to the keypad mode, as we mentioned, we need to enter the parameter group A. In parameter number 1, we set the value of this parameter to mode 2 or the number 2. Alright, let's go in. We enter parameter group A. We enter parameter group A in its parameter number 1. As we said, we set its value to 2 so that our frequency reference is on the keypad. We enter it, set it to number 2, and press the enter button. Alright, the next parameter we need to set is in group A. In parameter, we go to number 2 so that we can set the start stop on the keypad. We enter parameter number 2 and set it to 0. If parameter A02 is set to 0, it means our start/stop is controlled via the inverter keypad or the same run and stop button. I press the enter button on the keypad so it gets saved. Alright, I'm going back to group D. If I press the specific button labeled D01 on the control panel, I can clearly observe the current frequency value displayed. Now, considering this, which particular parameter or setting should we meticulously adjust to input and set the desired frequency value directly on the inverter's dedicated keypad interface? Now, if we want to set the frequency value directly from the inverter using the inverter's own keypad, which parameter should we enter? In parameter F31, group F parameters, parameter number 1, you can set the frequency value for the inverter there. All right, let's go to group F. We enter F31, for example. Let's keep it on that. We set it to 30 Hertz and press the STR key to save it. We also mentioned that the maximum frequency is set in parameter A04, which is in parameter group A. We enter it. In parameter number 4, we set the maximum frequency value. Right now it's set to 60 and we save it as is, then go back. We enter parameter D01 so that it shows us the output frequency value. Okay, now if I press the run button, the inverter will start the electric motor at a frequency of 30 Hertz. I'm pressing the run key. You can see that my electric motor started at a frequency of 30 Hertz. Now, if the direction of rotation is reversed, I can enter the F parameter group, and in F4, parameter number 4, I can change the direction of rotation. I'll stop the inverter now. It's currently rotating clockwise. I'll go to group F. I enter F4. Now it's set to 1. I set it to 0 and confirm it. Then go back again, parameter D01. So I can check the output frequency value again. This time when I press the start button, it should rotate counterclockwise. You can see that the direction of rotation has changed. So in this video or tutorial, we learned how to set our frequency reference on the keypad, as well as how to start and stop. We did this on the E1 inverter using the inverter's keypad.